Paralysis in divorce is a real problem, and it's a challenge when you've got so much that you need to do. I want to share some simple tips to help you move from freeze and overwhelm to taking action. I'm Bhavna. I'm a former family lawyer and a divorce coach, and I now help women navigate divorce in a way that protects them, protects their children, protects their finances. Now, I see this all the time. It's so often where I see people that need to get so much done and yet they can't. And why is that? Why can't they take action? So I think the first thing that I need to explain is what it actually looks like in real life when you're going through a divorce. If you're just starting out, you might not understand what this looks like. You've got 47 tabs open, a pile of paperwork, 20 emails coming in, you've got messages and texts coming in, and you're trying to navigate through this massive life change. You're feeling emotional, and on top of that, you need to make some massive decisions. You need to take some action. Now, that's a lot for anyone to think about, but if you're going through a divorce, it can cause your brain to shut down. I've been through a divorce and I know what this felt like. I was practicing as a lawyer, so I had all the legal knowledge, but when it came to actually moving things forward, doing something that I really needed to do for the divorce, I just couldn't take the action. Now, I'm not lazy. It's not that I didn't know how. I just really struggled to do anything, and I would end up leaving it for weeks, days, months on end, so that I didn't actually have to deal with it. So what was going on for me? I know that it was my nervous system that was trying to protect me. It didn't matter how much I told myself to get on with it. It didn't matter how much I tried to motivate myself, how many times I gave myself a talking to. I just couldn't take that step. I remember I needed to get my divorce application done. I got the form and I could have filled it in, and I filled this form in hundreds of times for clients, but I just couldn't bring myself to even put my name on the top. And it's not because I don't know my name, but that first act of actually filling a form in that is personal, and it's such a big life decision, was tough in itself, but my brain just kept saying, do it another day, do it another day, let's not do it today. And my divorce ended up taking me longer than it needed to, just because I was in that space. And I see so many people doing the same thing. I remember I put the laundry on, I cleaned the house, I vacuumed, I did some accounts, I did everything else except get on with this divorce, get on with some paperwork. And really, here's the thing, divorce is not just some life admin. It is so tough, it's a massive thing. You are overwhelmed with emotions, you're overwhelmed with fear. You just cannot understand how any of this is going to work. You had potentially 2 incomes and 1 household, and now you've got 2 households and your own income. You've also got the children, if you've got children, to consider. How are you going to manage everything by yourself with going to work? And life was busy enough. And so what we do is we put this away. It doesn't feel safe to deal with it. I'll put it away and I'll do it another day. And the laundry takes preference over that. Laundry never takes preference for me, but on those days, it really did. Now, your nervous system in this state can't decide what is going on. It's trying to keep you safe, and it doesn't understand the difference between these emotions that you're going through and physical danger. It thinks that you are in physical danger. So your brain has a choice in these moments. It can fight, flight, or freeze. Now, most people going through a divorce are in freeze. Their nervous system just shuts down. You're not running away. You're not staying to fight. You are often frozen. And I hear so many people say, well, it must be your mindset. It must be that you just procrastinate. Maybe you just can't be bothered to get on with it. You just need to get on with it. Just sit down and do the thing. And what they don't realize is when your nervous system is in freeze, it's a physiological response to feeling unsafe. You feel unsafe. Your brain thinks that you are in danger. And so it does what it has to do to keep you safe. The brain's only job is survival. And it believes that by freezing, it is keeping you alive. Your life isn't in danger. We know that. Well, hopefully, your life isn't in danger. It's not that things are so unsafe. It's you taking action. But because this is how it feels to your brain, it doesn't matter how much you try. It's really hard to do it. And you might give yourself a motivational pep talk, just do the thing. You can do this, all of that. And sometimes that doesn't feel enough. So how can you feel safe enough to take some action? Let's have a look at that first. Now, we can't eliminate the fear that you're going through because obviously you're going to have so many different things come up. And yes, I can do some videos around managing fear, what fear is, and how to get clarity over whatever you're scared about. So you don't feel that fear. Then we'd have knowledge, which is very different. But in this video, I'm talking about taking action. So how are we going to help you take action and remove some of that fear? And before we start on the action, what we want to do is find a way to make your nervous system feel safe and feel regulated and grounded as well. So I'll share with you some tips that you could take away to help your nervous system during this time where you need to take action so that you can start progressing. One of the first tips that I'm going to share, which is something that was shared with me during my divorce, and I hear about it all the time, is breathing. Now, I know breathing sounds like an obvious one because you're doing that anyway, but it's different breathing techniques that you could try before you sit down to progress something. So this breathing technique is all about making sure the exhale is longer than the inhale. So the first breathing technique I would like to share with you is initially a short inhale through the nose and then a second longer inhale to fully fill your lungs. And then you exhale slowly, making the exhale longer than the inhale. Try doing this 2 to 3 times. It will really make you feel calm. You will be able to feel a lot more regulated. And it's surprising, it only takes 2 or 3 of these to make you feel more grounded. So the second breathing technique that I wanted to share is a slow inhale. Inhale for a count of 4 and slowly exhale through the mouth for a count of 6 or 8. So the important thing here is that your exhale is longer and slower because this makes you feel regulated. It makes you feel safer. And by doing this 2 or 3 times, you can really be able to get into that position of being able to take a step forward. And you might think that sounds so simple. How can it be so simple? But it literally is. Because you are telling your brain that you are safe. You have got time to inhale and exhale and calm yourself down. Your brain thinks that you are coming from a place of safety. A second way of moving to a point where you feel regulated and you can do 1 or 2 or 3 of these techniques that I'm going to share with you. The second one is movement. Now, movement could be just standing up, shaking your arms and legs. Something like that can shake off the energy, shake off how you are feeling, and your body starts to feel safe. But you can do anything else. If you don't want to do shaking, you could dance, you could go for a run, you might just jump up and down on the spot. anything that is a movement will really help you. So before you sit down, think about what movement you could do. Take a few deep breaths, shake it off, have a dance in the kitchen, whatever you need to do to shake yourself out of that fear and the feeling of being unsafe. Humming or sighing, or even making any sounds, activates the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve will help you feel calmer. This is your calm state. So just humming, just sighing out loud, sitting at your desk, sitting at the dining table, sitting at the breakfast bar with a cup of coffee can calm you down. And nobody even needs to know that you are doing this. So if you're in a coffee shop, just take some big sighs, let some oxygen in, let your body know that it's safe, and that will really help you get into your calm state. The other thing is that you are now aware. You are aware that your body is feeling like this. And when you sit down to take some action, maybe when you're sat in that coffee shop and you know you need to take some action, because you are aware of how you are feeling, you will check in with yourself and you will know how you are feeling. And sometimes just naming it, saying, I know I feel nervous. I know this feels overwhelming, but actually I can do this. I can get on with it and I can do this. The other thing that you can do is actually name how you are feeling. So that awareness can be really empowering. It can really help you when you know how you are feeling. So when you sit down to take the action that you've planned, you can check in with yourself, see how you are feeling, name it. If you're feeling nervous, say, I'm feeling nervous. I feel really worried. I feel like this is a big task. Name it, be aware of it, and take the action anyway. When you have awareness, when you realize how you are feeling, it actually makes your body realize that it's not that you're unsafe. There's not a predator coming after you. You're just feeling nervous. So you can own that. The other thing you might find helps is a sensory anchor, like a specific candle. You might have something that you really love, a candle that you could light. The smell of that and the vision of that just grounds you. You might have a playlist that just makes you feel empowered and ready to go, or it makes you feel in a calm state. There may be something like that. You might spritz some air freshener or something, a room scent that just makes you feel like you're grounded. That sort of ritual that you might have where you light a candle, you light some incense, whatever it is, can make you feel like you are ready. It's a ritual to let you know you are ready. Do something small and consistent like that, the same thing every time, so your body feels safe. In the second part of this video, I'm going to talk to you about taking action. So we looked at certain tips and tricks to help your body feel safe, so you are priming yourself to take action. But then the other thing is that you feel overwhelmed still with what you've got to do. It feels so big. And often what I find with people is they make this massive thing about, I'll do this and I've got to do that, and next month I've got to do this, and don't forget that this is the journey that I'm going on and I've got that to do. And they look 6 months forward. And when you do that, you will feel overwhelmed. What we need to do is learn how to take small, specific action. So practical things that can help you take action. Well, the first thing is close everything down, maybe tidy up your area wherever you're sitting. And that doesn't mean do a full deep clean, because you're just avoiding, in that case, like I do with the laundry. What you're doing is just tidying up and taking out your book or your folder or whatever you use to organize yourself around your divorce. So when you have tidied everything away, it just makes your mind feel a bit calmer. It can be useful to have a list of things that you need to do, and I'll talk you through my specific framework that I use for clients so that they can feel a bit more organized. we want you to do something that isn't a final massive decision. We want to break this down into small chunks. So each element, that 10-minute element, does not feel so big. When you are looking at small, maybe irrelevant actions, you can actually take those. It's when it's a big final action that it's a struggle. So the first part of the sort it method is S, spill. What I want you to do is brain dump everything. Everything that you're thinking of that you need to do. Doesn't mean that it's really urgent, but just brain dump it all. Put it all down, anything that you have to do. And you can separate this out with your divorce and life admin and children admin and everything else. And obviously what I'm looking at is divorce admin, things that you need to do to progress your divorce. But you can use this across all of the different admin tasks, things that you need to do. It feels safe knowing that it's all written down. And during the week, feel free to keep adding to this list. You're not going to remember everything in one go. You might need to keep adding to it. So this list is as full as possible. Now, I don't want you to get overwhelmed by the list either. So what we're going to look at now is just your divorce admin, because I want you to be able to take steps on that. So here's the sort it system that I mentioned in the video. You can see the different elements. So the first part is to put your name and the week that you're looking at, and S stands for spill it. So brain dump everything that you've got to put down. And obviously for you could use a paper and pen. You've got lots of different ways of doing this. You don't need to use a system like this, but you can. So I'm just going to fill it in so you can see how it could work. So you can see I'm putting down different elements that I need to get done. So you can see that I need to get bank statements. I need to get my pensions valued. I need to get the house valued. And I need to finish, I need to do a divorce application. So these are the different things that I'm thinking about. At some point, I might need to do some other elements like fill in Form E. We can put down so many more here as well. Find 3 housing particulars or housing need, for example. So you can see I've got different things here. And what I need to decide is, what do I need to get done this week? And we put it here. So we sort to this week, we're getting the house valued. We've got the pet, we need to get a pension, CTV and bank statements. So I'm going to see how this week goes. This I might put down for this week, depending on how many slots I've got. But this is important, but it's not so urgent. This is important, not so urgent. And there may be other things like income and expenditure. I need to work out what my budget is. And it's important, but not yet. And there may be some other things that you need to do that you put into the bucket of not now. Like need to get will done. And we can put that in not now, although it is important. But that could go in the not now bucket. So that's how you do spill it. But I want you to put down everything you need to do for your divorce. Everything that is a task that you're thinking about, that someone's told you need to do. Just put it all down here, and we can put it on important, not yet, or not now. So we know it's at some point in the future. So O, in sort it, the second step is called order it. Now you've got a list of things that you need to get done. What we need to do is decide how urgent these things are, or how important these things are. So what I want you to do when you've got your to-do list is actually, you can use a highlighter. So you might say yellow or green is for do it this week, needs to be done this week. And you might color code the other ones as in can be done next week. It's important but not urgent, or not now. We don't need to say we've got to do it in 4 weeks. It's just not now. We'll deal with this at some point. The first one is do it this week. The second one is important but not urgent. The third one is not now. Again, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by these categories, and I'll show you a quick example of how you do this on my special framework that I have. So I have a special resource that I use for this, and my clients use for this as well, and I'll show you a quick demonstration. So be honest with yourself. Most people will put everything as needs doing today, needs doing this week. But in reality, some of it can be left. What we need to make sure is that we've got specific actions for this week that are urgent, that need to be done this week, and then the remaining can be done next week. Obviously, if you manage to get it all done, you can bring some things forward and get them done this week. But I don't want to overwhelm you at this stage. When we're looking at ordering this, you can see the different things that are slotted into this week, important, not yet, and not now. So we know that actually by sorting it out here, it ordered it here. And so the lucky thing for us, this system allows us to order it as well. So I've ordered them there, and we have got all of these things that we need to do this week, important but not yet and not now. And when you keep filling this in, what you will find is that the spill it section will get fuller and fuller, but you can order it. And all we need to think about is this week. What do we have to do this week? All of this important but not yet and not now is there, so we don't need to worry about it. Now in sort it, the R means reduce it. Take everything that you have put down for this week and break each task into 10-minute tasks. So for example, if you are looking at getting your house valued, you need to get a valuation of your house. How do we turn this into small tasks? Well, the first one might be, and they're small 10-minute tasks, don't forget. The first one might be to do some research on estate agents in the local area and make a short list of 6 in priority order. So that could be a 10-minute task. The second 10-minute task could be to look up the kind of properties they're selling, see if that's an estate agent that you want to work with, and cross off the ones that you don't want to work with. So now maybe you've got a list of 3. And so that could be another 10-minute task. And your third 10-minute task could be that you telephone all 3 and have a quick chat on the phone and potentially book an appointment for each one to come and visit, speak to you and give you a valuation. After that, you'll get a written valuation and obviously there'll be an appointment in the diary. So that will take care of itself. And by breaking it down into these 10-minute units, it doesn't feel so overwhelming, because when you look at each one separately, you just get on with it. It's just a task. And you may decide to do all 3 on one day, or you might split the task over 3 days. You might do 10 minutes today, 10 minutes tomorrow, and 10 minutes the day after. And we schedule that in. So we know that getting your house valued, now we can see the small tasks that you need to do to get that done. And do that with all of your tasks that are for this week. Schedule them into 10-minute tasks across the week. So potentially you've got 3 10-minute tasks a day if you think you can manage 30 minutes a day. What I would also suggest is that you have a set time that you do this. So for me, my set time would be 9:30, for example. because I've done the school run. I've had enough time to get my laundry done or spend 10 minutes just clearing up after breakfast. I've had time to get a coffee, to ground myself a little bit and sit down. And then I can do some breathing exercises, maybe light a candle and think about jumping up and down or dancing on the spot or something to shift my energy. Then all I need to do is have a look at my day's tasks and get them done without thinking. I don't want you to put too much thought, because when you do this Monday scheduling of the tasks, or on Sunday night you might schedule your tasks, you sit down and you work it out then. You're not actually doing any tasks, you're just working out your plan for the week. And what you will find is that these tasks start happening and you can start crossing them off, which makes you feel so much better. Let's move on to reduce it. So now we're breaking it into real progress. We're turning this week's tasks into meaningful 10-minute actions that actually move things forward, which is the important bit. You can use an AI prompt, which I've kind of put here, and you can copy the prompt there to help you split your actions into your tasks into 10-minute actions. And what it does say is, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Please break it down into a maximum of 5 meaningful actions that will help you move things forward. So I'm going to have a look at what I need to do this week and start reducing it into 10-minute actions. So let's have a look. We've got get the house valued. So 10-minute action would be, and I mentioned this, research 6 local estate agents. And then, so that would be find 6 local estate agents, research 6 estate agents to reduce the list to 3. And then we would contact the 3 estate agents to book appointments. So that's getting the house valued. Then we need to get our pensions valued. So the first thing I would do is create a list of my pensions. So write down the pensions with contact details. And then call the pension companies and ask for CTV. So that is a 10-minute task. Now let's add another one. We've got bank statements. Make a list of each bank account. And, oh, my spelling's not great there. And with bank sort code and account number. And download 12 months bank statements for first 2 accounts. Download 12 months bank statements for next 2 accounts. Probably, depending on the number, download 12 months bank statements for next 2 accounts. So we've got to get this done. We know that it's quite a lot of bits of work. And then the next thing is divorce application. So we've put that for this week and we'll see how much of it we can get done. So the first thing that you need to do with your divorce application is create an online divorce account and take photo of marriage certificate. So that's starting to to get ready. And actually we could cut that down into 2. Find and take photograph of marriage certificate. Log into the divorce account, fill in personal details. Log into divorce account and finalize details. Upload marriage certificate. So you can see I've got lots of small tasks there. And what we want to do is now allocate these to a day. So we can reduce them, but we want to allocate it so that we've got 3 to do every day. And that's the point of timing it. We give ourselves 3 tasks every day. So I'm going to put this for Monday. And I think that I might do this on Monday because I want to split up some of the tasks. And I'll do that on Monday as well. This one I'm going to leave to Tuesday, and I'll make the calls on Tuesday because I know I've got time. So I've already got 3 actions for Monday, 2 for Tuesday. So I think that I might find a photo of the marriage certificate on Tuesday as well. And I'm going to do this one for Wednesday. This one for Wednesday, and I think I might just get this done on Wednesday as well because I prefer to get them chunked together. This one I'm going to do on Thursday, and I'll get the divorce account set up as well. Now, what I will do on Thursday is finalize that. Actually, I might do that on Friday, and I'm going to do this on Friday as well. And I will review the divorce application because I might just need time to get that done. And I probably want to come back to that. So I'll review it on Saturday and submit divorce application on Sunday, because that gives me time to think it through and make sure I'm okay. So you can see there's still some gaps there, even though I've given myself small actions. And coming back to the T in sort it, the T is for timing. Now, you want to set time that you do this if you can. And it might be that your set time is 9 a.m. You might decide that your set time is 8:30 because actually you're on the train going into work. And so you can do 2 tasks at 8:30, and then after that you'll do one at 9:30 because that's the telephone tasks where you have to pick up the phone and make a call potentially. Put a timer on. Put a timer on your watch, on whatever device you've got nearby, so that you time yourself. When you've got a timer, you know that you are just going to be thinking about this thing for 10 minutes. It stops you spiraling into wasting an hour on it. It stops you feeling overwhelmed because you've put a timer on, you're going to get down and get it done. And so timing it can be super useful. If you don't get the task finished, you can either put it for the next block of time, or you could reschedule it for the next day or wherever you've got a gap. If you prefer to get it done, you could move a block. Nothing is immovable, that's the thing. You could move one of your blocks from today to Wednesday and get that task finished. But when you're timing it, it doesn't feel so overwhelming because you know it's only going to take you 30 minutes. And with timing it, obviously you've got a timer here, but you can use any timer you want. But you can see everything I need to do this week. So as I do it, I can knock it off and I know it's done. So use your system to organize yourself in this way. And I didn't give myself so much to do on Saturday and Sunday because I know the children are home, but I also know that these 2 action points are quite big. They're going to make me feel emotional, even though I've regulated my nervous system. So I just want a bit of time to sit with that. And then on Sunday or Monday, whenever you like to do your weekly reset, you answer these questions. What did I actually complete last week? What has been sitting in important but not yet for 2 weeks or more? What are my top 3 priorities for this coming week? And with my system, you can actually save and print this and you can fill it in as you go along. You can add more tasks. You can save it on your laptop. So that's quite a good thing. But you could do this on paper. You don't need to use a system. And the reason why I call the framework Sort It, it's because on Sunday or Monday, whenever you get a bit more time, and I suggest Sunday would be better, is you sit down and you look at it. You look at what you achieved in the week. You answer some questions. So it might be what went right last week. What did you get done? How did it make you feel? Was there anything that came up for you when you were going through your tasks? And you can write this down as you're going through during the week. And it gives you a chance to reflect, which is really important. We forget to reflect, don't we? And that reflection time, that 10 minutes that you reflect on a Sunday night, will be really helpful. It also helps you get your plan ready for the next week. It lets you know certain things that maybe you had put down for not now are coming up a bit more urgently. Certain things that you said were important but not urgent, maybe if you keep leaving them every week, even though they are important, you can bring them forward. So it gives you a chance to reflect. Now this system, I think, would be really useful. All you need is a pen and paper. You don't need any fancy gadgets. You can just write it all down. I do have a resource that can be used for this. You could use an Excel spreadsheet. You could use a Word document, anything, your diary, anything to get this done. It's super useful and it will really help you move forward. So just to go through the things that I shared, I use a framework called Sort It to help you take action, which is spill it. It's a small brain dump of everything you need to do. Then it's order it, so you know what things are urgent, what things are important but you're not doing this week, and what things you're not doing now but might need to be done in the future. You then reduce it into small 10-minute tasks. So one thing can be reduced, everything out of your tasks for today can be turned into 10-minute tasks. We reduce them down into small actionable tasks rather than one big one. So that's really important. And then the T stands for time it. Make sure you have a set time you do this, or you put these times in your diary and you put a timer on so your brain feels safe to get this done, because it is going to be 10 minutes. And then every Sunday or every Monday, whenever you have the time, you reflect on everything. And so you think about how it's gone, what's outstanding, is there something that's really important that you keep putting off, what's coming up for you. That's really important. What is really important is that maybe you haven't got it all figured out, but taking these small steps can really help you make progress. You're not failing, you're not behind. It's just maybe you haven't learned all the tips that you need to. If you found this useful, feel free to watch and subscribe so that you can follow me for other tips and tricks.